Hello again. This is the US Futures weekly chart analysis for the week ending 11th of November 2022. We have a bit of a storm going through here right now. So if you hear a bit of noise, some thunder in the background or rain, you know what's going on. First chart is the US dollar index. We've been following it pretty closely for a while now. These are all the breakout lines. Here's the breakdown line. Price broke clearly below 110 this week. Accelerated lower. It's found some support adjacent to this congestion zone to the left. What we look for now is any signs of buying support coming into the market. If price was to attempt to recover back above 110 and fail at that level, that would suggest price may continue lower. If instead price looks to find some buying support of some sort, you may find a more sustainable rebound in the next little period of time. The E-mini S&P, this is S&P 500 index futures. The previous support was at this level. More current support came through here. Price broke out above this level, tested it for supply, accelerated higher again this week. There's a minor level in there, here, and price has pushed back through that this week. I would expect if there's continuing weakness on the US dollar, price to move up and perhaps challenge this level. It will at least move up to that level if it has a tailwind from the US dollar index. And that's 41.38. So there's a good chance price will move up. As usual, there's always a chance for an early test for supply on a weekly chart. That's where you get a little bit of overlap below the previous close. And then if supply is found to be low, price will move higher. If supply is found to be ongoing or high, price will generally move lower in response and challenge the sellers before there's any attempt to move higher. The 10-year note futures. The 10-year note futures, we did see an attempt more recently to support the market through here. Pointed that out over the last couple of weeks. And in response, price has pushed up and closed just above the breakout line. It's not a very clear breakout line, but it's all we've got on this chart. The next level above is up here at 117.5. So there's probably a little line in here as well, about 115. The highs of this bar, where a little bit of increased volume came in here. So you've probably got a minor level around 115, and the more serious level above is at 117.5. Now, I'm not sure price is going to be strong enough to push up to those levels. It will depend on how strong or weak the US dollar is. If the US dollar continues lower, then I would expect a challenge up towards 115. If the US dollar attempts to find buying support, or buying support comes in of some type, it's more likely you'll see a test for supply before anything else happens. Copper price futures have been very resilient lately. I've been pointing it out week after week. While the US dollar was continuing to push higher, this market refused effectively to push lower and kept on absorbing the strength in the US dollar. And now that the US dollar has found a bit of weakness, you see price has now gained more strength. It doesn't have to absorb that strength in the US dollar anymore. It's allowed to push higher of its own accord, and it's done so and effectively broken out this week, broken out above this level here. The stronger level is right up here. I would expect a period of consolidation in this market. You can see volumes have gotten really high over the last 2 weeks as price has pushed out and above this trading range. Generally, a market will consolidate in response to a breakout like this. There may be a little bit of early momentum in the market. It will attempt to go higher, but it won't be supported by the overall market unless, of course, there is continual weakness on the US dollar, which may allow this market to continue floating higher and the momentum to continue for a bit longer. but I would more expect, considering the volume is really high last week, that the market will attempt to consolidate and solidify the gains and solidify its breakout above this level. If this is the range here between this level and the lows of this range, look for a consolidation up as high as possible within that range. The higher the market consolidates within this range is generally a good indication of how strong the underlying sentiment in the market is. So look for a consolidation that's high up within this range as a good way to judge how much underlying strength or weakness there is in the market. Gold price futures. Gold price futures have also been quite resilient recently. Not quite as resilient as the copper market, but quite resilient all the same. And this market's also broken out this week. And here's the range that we would be looking at in here. And you would also be looking for this market to have a period of consolidation. Volume was very high last week, so a big effort was put in to push out. And once this momentum begins to ease, and that effectively means when the US dollar index begins to consolidate itself and try to recover from the losses, you'll be looking for a period of consolidation up as high as possible within that range to help you judge how strong or weak this market really is. The underlying strength in the market now is really important. If it's not very strong, the market will pull right back and consolidate back at 1700 or even below it before it attempts to push back up again. Silver price futures. Silver price futures saw some buying support come in down here. We identified it at the time. Here's the breakdown line. Here's the breakdown line above that. You can see prices broken out this week. Also on quite strong volume. Another big effort was put in. Here's the range of the breakout. You can see prices pushed up, then accelerated higher 2 weeks ago, and then pushed above the breakout line here, which is the old breakdown line previously. Prices now broken out above that level, and a big effort was put in, being reflected by the high volume. And generally, supply will be drawn out when price pushes higher like this and breaks out above an old level. Look for a consolidation period up high within the range to show you just how strong this market is. Like crude price futures have pushed up to the lows of the old trading range here. It's been a bit of a difficult market to read more recently. A lot going on in the market. Price was attempting to consolidate this week just below the level. You see prices pushed up to the lows of the range twice now. It pulled back quite deeply here to consolidate. It's pushed up to the lows of the old trading range again last week, and this week it's moved into consolidation mode. It's not a really good example of consolidation. The spread was a little bit wide, volume was a little bit too high. The close mid-bar does show there's buying support in the bottom of the bar. I would sort of expect a secondary test next week. Price may push up and challenge the lows of the trading range and attempt to get back up within the old range. I tend to think that the volume is a little bit high. That's showing you that supply was high, but it's also showing you that buying support came in, good buying support, in the lows of that bar or off the lows of that bar. So it's a bit of 6 to 1, half dozen the other. There could well be a test for supply. Maybe that'll only be just early, and you'll get something like this early. Supply will be low, then the market will attempt to push higher in response. We'll just have to wait and see. Aussie dollar currency futures. really benefited from the weakness in the US dollar this week. And here's the old breakdown lines. There's a minor level, about 68 cents, which is in here. And you might find price come up and bang its head on this level next week, depending on the strength or weakness in the US dollar. This has really only moved higher because of the weakness in the US dollar more recently. The 65 cent was a stronger level. Initially, price pushed straight back below it, but it's come back up, and perhaps it'll recover back at that level. We'll see. It may be able to push itself up back at 68, and that would then give it a chance back at the 70 cent level, which was the old strong level. Bit of 6 to 1 and half dozen the other in this chart as well. Bitcoin futures. Bitcoin futures have had a fairly tough week. There's been some fundamental issues in the markets this week, and that's what's caused this serious down bar, very high volume. Now, this level I've got marked is the lows of the previous support zone. It's effectively at 16,000, 15,915. And prices come down, and it did find support at that level. It pushed a fraction below it, but it's closed back pretty much exactly at that level. It's closed at 16,050. So just a fraction above that level. A clear break below this level, especially if there's a failure to recover, would almost certainly see the 10,000 level come into play. If there's a clear break below 16,000, a lot of this volume that we've been looking at for the past few weeks, which appeared to be, for the most part, buying support within this zone, could be dumped. If that's dumped, it's pushing back to 10,000 for sure, perhaps even lower. There's a lot of volume here, and if that gets dumped, that's going to be a lot of force pushing price lower. So the 16,000 is a really key level on this chart, and it really needs to hold in the near term while the market regains a little bit of confidence and recovers from the serious issues that are going on fundamentally in the crypto space. Just back to the US dollar index quickly before we finish up. Put the lines in. Breakout line, breakdown line, clear breakdown this week. Prices found support adjacent to this congestion to the left. Now we're looking to see this market consolidate in response. And the period of consolidation is sort of like a recovery, and the market attempting to stabilise after serious losses like this. And you'll generally see one of two things. You'll see buying support come in, which looks more like this. You may get a period of bars which all form a consolidation pattern, or the market will immediately attempt to recover, and if it's unable to recover past the important level, price will often break down further in response. It'll be a measure of the strength or weakness in this market. The next level below comes through in here. This is the next congestion level to the left, similar to this level. You can see that price pushed clearly past this older level with ease. The next important level is 105. If price pushes below 105 clearly, then we're back to this congestion zone here, where price may attempt to find buying support and recover back there. But at this moment, this is the level we're watching, between 105 and 110. And if the market's able to consolidate within that level, then price will have some chance of recovery and pushing higher again. But for now, we're looking for some buying support to come in and stabilise this market, and the market to then perhaps go through a period of consolidation. Okay, thanks for your time. Hopefully that was worth your while watching. Thanks again. See ya.